Now I grew up, like I said, in the West Indies. I grew up at the beginning of my life anyway, I grew up in a very kind of affluent family. They were kind of well-to-do. They lived in the town. By the age of, let's say, 3 or something, I could spell Mississippi, I could read lots of different books and stuff. As I got older, my dad started to study, and so he would leave the town and leave me with my stepmother. And as a result of actually doing that, things just got really bad for me in terms of just neglect and stuff like that. And then I was actually taken from my dad and taken to the country. Now, anybody here come from Jamaica in the country? Okay. Okay. So in the country, well, I don't know about everybody else's country, but in the country where I went to, I felt safe because it was green, it was lush, you had the banana, cocoa. I mean, I come from up in the hills in the bush, Clarendon. And what was very interesting though, is while I was there, like I said, I felt safer, but I had a lot of responsibilities while I was there. Where I lived, they didn't have flush toilets like you have here. They didn't have electricity like you have here. My responsibilities, that's coming from being a town girl to now being a country girl, was totally different. There was no relaxation. I used to have to get up in the mornings, go and tie out goats, and that means walk for miles to take the goats out. And we didn't have running water where we lived, so I had to go and get running water from miles and actually bring the water to fill this kind of barrel thing. And that was my responsibilities before I left to school. When I came back, it was literally the same thing. All the things that I'd done, the goats I'd taken out, all of those things, I had to go and get the goats and stuff. But it wasn't, that didn't really affect me so much, because like I said, I felt safer. What really affected me, even from a young age, because I grew up in a kind of like a house of teachers, was that in that country where I was, there were kids who were brighter than me, way brighter than me, that couldn't get to go to school every single day. And that was because either their parents just couldn't afford to, so that meant they had responsibilities at home that they had to do, or some parents didn't think it was actually that important. And from that age, I would say I was about 8 or 9, I said to myself, you know what, when I'm older, I'm actually going to make sure that every single child I meet gets a good education, or get an opportunity to get an education. That was a decision I made at age 9. Why do I tell you that story? I tell you that story because all of you here, you were older than me when I made that decision. You're now 11, 12, some of you 30. I want you to realize that any decision that you make, you can actually be whatever you want. And no one can stop you from actually pursuing your dreams or be whatever you want to be.